Good evening. I hereby call to order the June 25th, 2025 meeting of the Gaithersburg Historic District Commission. For our roll call, please answer present when I call your name. Preservation Planner Kate San Gregorio.
Present.
Deputy City Attorney Frank Johnson.
Present.
Community Planning Manager Jasmine Forbes.
Present.
Commissioner Mark Feinstein.
Present.
Commissioner Rudy Morgan.
Present.
Commissioner and Vice Chairman John Roddy.
Present.
Commissioner Mary Jo LaFrance.
Present.
Alternate Commissioner Kathleen Ramirez.
Present.
And myself, Commissioner and Chairman Dean Ventola, says present. We have a quorum, and alternate Commissioner Ramirez's role tonight is solely as an observer and a guest. Next is our preliminary statement, which is as follows. This commission is empowered to meet and act under Article 12 of the City Code of Gaithersburg. The technical qualifications of the staff of this commission and the members of this commission are in file with the City of Gaithersburg, are available on request to any applicant, and are hereby made a part of the legal record of each and every application heard tonight. Each application heard tonight is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. Lastly, any member of from the public who wishes to speak on one of tonight's applications will be given 3 minutes to address the HDC from the podium at the reserved time. But we ask that you refrain from speaking out from the audience and that you take any private conversations outside of the council chambers. Okay, does any commissioner have any conflicts of interest for any application being heard tonight?
I have no conflict, but I would like to make a statement that with regard to the second matter that we'll be discussing tonight, HIST 10107-2025. I lived about 4.5, maybe 5 blocks from that particular site for a number of years. I do not think that would affect my judgment.
Okay,
Anyway,
and you're referring to the Wye Site?
that's correct.
Okay, very good. All right. Anything else for anyone else?
Well, I also live not far from there, but again, I don't think it'll affect my judgment.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have 3 historic area work permits, the first of which is HIST 10070-2025, playground equipment for Crown Farm Park at 403 DeCoverly Drive in the mixed-use development zone. May we have an introduction from staff, please?
Yes. HIST 10070-2025 for Crown Farm Park. It's the application for playground equipment. This application comes before the HDC in accordance with Section 24-9.4 of the City Code. This property is individually designated as part of the England Crown Farm. Here's a general site view. And the criteria from the code to base this review on, the only thing I've been able to reference here is new construction, and that review should be lenient on new construction. The design of the playground equipment has been toned down from earlier reviews. This does not impair the significance of the historic site. It will not damage any remaining historic resources, and it can be removed. The HDC previously requested to approve the final design of this playground equipment, but the city needs approval of this nearly final draft to move forward with the purchasing process. It may still be altered slightly. Staff recommends that the Historic District Commission, based on the exhibits submitted, the applicant's testimony, the staff report findings and recommendation, and Section 24-9.4G of the City Code, approve HIST 10070-2025, finding it in compliance with, did I write that wrong? Section 24-9.4 of the City Code, with one condition that staff will seek to pursue HDC's comments and suggestions and review and approval of the final play equipment design and any future updates. Okay, so I'll turn it over to Melanie.
Thanks,
Do you have
Kate.
anything?
Good evening, Commissioners.
Hello. Yes, please state your name and your role.
My name is Melanie Brown. I'm a project manager with the Department of Public Works.
Welcome.
Thank you. City staff has incorporated the feedback received at the March HDC meeting and refined the playground design accordingly. We're excited to present the updated design to you this evening. Just a familiarization with the site, the playground is centrally located within the northeast corner of the park, adjacent to the historic farmhouse in what is envisioned as the park's preliminary entrance, with a footprint of approximately 3,000 square feet, and it's shown in the blank circle right in the middle of the map there. So working closely with the playground designer, we've aimed to strike a balance between a vibrant traditional playground and a more subdued natural aesthetic that complements the site's historic character. The selected color palette, featuring barn red, earthy greens, and browns, was carefully chosen to harmonize with existing site elements and the surrounding landscape. In response to previous concerns, several items such as the hay bales, cows, and sheep have been removed from the design due to their overly cartoon-like appearance. The new design draws inspiration from the site's agricultural history, incorporating equipment that reflects the property's legacy as a working farm with livestock and machinery. Consistent with other city parks, this playground includes multiple ADA accessible features. The design allows for a seamless navigation from the main entrance near the farmhouse to the central play area, ensuring inclusivity and ease of access for all users while traveling through the main structure. Highlighted features include the expression swing, which fosters intergenerational play by allowing an adult and child to swing together face-to-face, the duo spinner, designed with full body support and a central divider for children who are sensory sensitive or prefer reduced physical contact. And the zero-G swing chair offers added support for children with mobility challenges so they can play alongside their peers. The playground surfacing features hoofprint patterns, a delicate nod to the site's past as a dairy farm. We've also included sprout spinners, which resemble corn or bean stalks, and offer a fun and challenging climbing experience. While the tractor element remains a key feature, its color palette has been adjusted to better align with the natural tones of the park and the remaining historical features, or structures, sorry. And that concludes the presentation. I'd be happy to answer any of the questions that you have about the playground design.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome to stay where you are. We're going to invite the public to speak, and then we'll have the commissioners ask the questions of you. So next up is the public is invited to speak. Anyone from the audience wishes to speak on behalf or against this proposal, please come to the podium. And I see lots of shaking heads. Okay. All right, very good. Do we have anybody waiting online? I can give the information if we think it's necessary or
Looks like
desired.
we have two participants online, so I would just mention if someone wants to speak, they can hit
Okay.
the raise hand button.
All right, so if anyone at home wants to speak, to indicate that you want to make a comment, if you're on a computer or laptop, move your mouse to the bottom center of the Zoom window and you should see a raise hand button pop up. Click on the button and then we can call on you. If you are dialing in on a telephone, please press *9 to raise your hand.
So we got one. It just says NANA.
Are you saying there's no one?
Well, someone raised their hand,
Oh, they did.
but
Okay.
but their name is there we go.
Hi. There doesn't need to be a tot lot on every inch of this
Hold on,
community.
hold on.
There's already
Hello?
one across
Can
the
she
street.
hear me?
This thing is obnoxious and huge and an
Hello?
eyesore. We just need open grass space and a place where dogs can go run. We do not need tot lot zone on every inch of Crown. It is obnoxious. There's space over where the other tot lot already is in the neighborhood. Put it over there. If that thing is massive, it's an eyesore, it's ugly, it ruins just the natural open space, get rid of it. It is hideous. No one here wants this. It is ugly. We want open space, not tot lots and children and everything and shit all over the place.
Cut her off. She cut off?
Yep.
And is there anyone else interested in speaking?
Nope, there's no one else.
Okay, very good. All right. We don't know who the caller was, so based on that lack of identification, we cannot use any of that testimony.
Can't set it for the record. Right?
None whatsoever, because
All right.
there was no,
Introduction.
yeah, I mean, we don't know who it was, so it's
Yeah.
not testimony, so ignore everything on that, free to say. All right, so no one else wants to speak in the audience, and we don't have anybody else? All right, so then we'll take it to the commissioners. And so, want to call your name, please give us your thoughts and questions for the applicant. Commissioner Feinstein, you're up
And
first.
Mr. Commissioner, I don't mean to interrupt at all.
go ahead, please.
And you can take account of the public comment, whether somebody identifies themselves or not, but you are certainly permitted to take the fact that they didn't identify where they are from into your consideration. It is part of the record, so it can be considered, but it can be considered, shall we say, for what it is worth. So you're not prohibited in that regard. I just wanted to clarify that. But you are also permitted to consider it as it was presented.
Thank you for that.
Sorry about that.
But it's definitely
you.
not testimony because there's no identification.
Pardon me?
Would you agree that it's not testimony because there's no identification?
I would say it's public comment, and that's what you were asking for.
Okay.
But I
thank
would
you.
agree, it's not sworn testimony, certainly.
Okay, very good, thank you. All right. Commissioner Feinstein?
I don't have any questions. I do want to comment that I think the revised plan is definitely a major improvement from what was previously shown. I think that it's definitely toned down, and it is more in keeping with kind of the more natural landscape around the area.
Okay, very good, thank you. Commissioner Morgan?
I have one question. Can you go back to the site plan, please? The site plan
The site
with the
plan.
trees. Okay, that and the site plan. Okay. All right. I understand the rendering. They took off the trees. I wish they had the trees so I can see the effect of the green area of the trees. And
Understood.
yeah. That's the only question I have. But I think I agree with my colleague here that it has been toned down a little bit. You revised this, and it's in line with the historical context. The barn, you took that with the equipment, with the tractor, and try to mimic some of the things that are historical to the site. I commend you on that.
Thank you.
Other than that, I don't have any more comments or question.
Very good, thank you. Commissioner Roddy?
Normally, I would say we as a body should refrain from involving ourselves in something like playground equipment, being, as we are, a more historic body, but we can analyze whether it does any violence to the historic nature of the site. I believe this does not, and I like it.
Those are all very good comments. Commissioner LaFrance?
I'm very pleased that you took our advice, and with the farm theme, very appropriate, the coloring appropriate. Thank you.
I'm next and last, and I have no negative comments whatsoever.
Great.
All right, so next then, Commissioners Open Forum, jump in, say your last thoughts if you like. Anything further from anybody before we go to a vote?
Well, I guess this just remains to be seen depending on what's available for them to purchase now that we've gotten this far.
Okay,
That's it.
all right, very good, all right. So may I have a motion to either approve or deny this HAWP with or without conditions?
I move that that the Historic District Commission, based on the exhibits submitted, the applicant's testimony, the staff report findings, and the recommendations, and Section 24-9.4G of the City Code, approve HIST-10070-2025, finding it in compliance with Section 24-9.4 of the City Code, with the one condition that the staff will seek to pursue HDC's comments and suggestions in review and approval of the final play equipment design and future updates.
Second?
Second.
All right, so all those in favor, I'll go down the list, say aye if you support the motion, nay if you don't, abstain if you wish. Commissioner Feinstein?
Aye.
Commissioner Morgan?
Aye.
Commissioner Roddy?
Aye.
Commissioner LaFrance?
Aye.
And Commissioner Ventola says aye, so that's 5-0, motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, next is our second of three hops, and that is HIST 10107-2025, installation of a compost drop-off site at the Wye Site, parcel number 16090081780 in the CBD, which is Central Business District Zone. May we have an introduction from staff, please?
Hello, my name is Akuma Karimova, and I'm the.
Oh, can you pause, please, first?
Oh.
We're going to staff, then.
We're staff.
We can't wait to hear your
Sorry.
thoughts, but we need introduction first.
You're ready for it too, huh? Okay, so the Wye Site, HIST 10107-2025, which is adjacent to 15 Falks Corner Avenue. The applicant proposal is to install a compost drop-off site. This is the site view looking north. This shows the remaining rail stop on the property. And this is a selection of the site plan. Some of our review criteria here are that the bins themselves will be screened by an appropriate fence, and the project will not interfere with the remaining historic resources on the site. And here's a reference to the existing site at Casey Community Center and an outline of the structure on the site that was drawn, which is looking south. The rail stop is in the background on the right. If you can see it at all in there. And this is a selection of the fence. Staff recommends that the Historic District Commission, based on the exhibits submitted, the applicant's testimony, the staff report findings and recommendation, the fences and accessory structures sections of the Historic District Design Guidelines for the Brookes, Russell, and Walker Historic District and individually designated sites. Approve HIST 10107-2025, finding it in compliance with Section 24-9.4 of the City Code.
Thank you. Okay, welcome to you. If either or both of you will be speaking, whoever will be, you both can, just please state your name and your role before you start speaking.
Hello again. I'm Akuma Karimova, and I'm the Sustainability Administrator in the Public Works Department.
And I'm Nancy Shum. I'm the Environmental Services Division Chief for the City of Gaithersburg.
Welcome, both of you. One at a time. It doesn't matter to me who speaks first, but please give us all of your thoughts.
Thank you again. We're very excited about this project. As you may know, the City of Gaithersburg is part of the Sustainable Maryland Certification Program. And in 2024, we applied for a grant through the Sustainable Maryland Action Grant, and were awarded $20,000 to expand our composting services for the city residents. Currently, we already have 2 composting sites, one at the Public Works, which is in the northwestern side of the city, close to Diamond Farms Park, and another one at Casey Center, which is in the southeastern part of the city, closer to Borer and Morris Park. So the new site location will be closer to City Hall and will offer the services for new residents in a new neighborhood in the Old Town area. And when we started the composting services in 2020, we diverted 25,804 pounds of organic waste from landfills. And because of the high demand, we installed a second composting site at the Casey Center in 2021. And since then, in 2024, we've diverted 71,696 pounds of organic waste, which is an increase of 178% within the past 4 years. And every time we do public event outreach, like Oktoberfest, Green Month events, you name it, we always get a lot of questions about composting and whether that service will be expanded. So by introducing a third compost site, we'll be able to see the trend, and we're sure that it will continue to increase. And this is very significant for us because, as you know, we're aiming to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. And based on the EPA 2019 survey, only 5% of organic waste is currently composted across America. and yet organic waste causes 58% of the methane gas emissions. So we feel that this is a very positive project, both for the residents close to City Hall and Old Town, as well as for the reduction of greenhouse gases across the city. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Would you like to add anything?
Nope, Okuma did a great job. I'm just here to back up if you have questions.
Thank you very much. Okay, so then let's go to the commissioners. Again,
Public.
oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so anyone from the public, thank you very much. Anyone from the public who wishes to speak for or against this HWAP, please come to the podium. And I see no one. And so do we have anyone waiting online?
We have no online.
Okay, very good. That is very good. All right, so then, yes, Commissioner Feinstein, you're up first.
I have no questions. I think this is great. And I think it's a very appropriate location for the composting site, and the fencing is perfectly fine for the site. I have no issues.
Okay, wonderful. Commissioner Morgan?
Okay, can you go to the picture of this, the casework, the reference? Can you get close, zoom into that so I can see?
No, it's just a PowerPoint.
It's just, okay, all right.
So it will be in front of that white car.
Yeah, I'm talking about the reference. You built two or
Oh,
three, you
the
did two of
Casey.
these. Yeah,
Oh,
the
this one.
casework, yeah.
Yes. So the one on the
Is it the
left.
same material,
it will look
in the
just-
same
it will
profile?
look very similar
It's
to
similar
that,
to that?
yes.
Is it stained? Or is just natural wood?
Just natural wood.
Okay, all right.
There's already on the adjacent property a similar fence
Okay.
where they keep their garbage.
Okay, all right. I don't have any more questions. I
Okay,
think
very
it
good.
looks
Thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Roddy?
I do have several questions and some comments. What road mitigation program do you have for this?
Could you repeat the question?
Rodent mitigation.
Rodent mitigation. So we have spoken to the company that will support us with this process, Compost Crew. They already service the 2 other location sites. And we've been informed by them that as long as there are no droppings of, organic peels or other food items on the floor, there should not be any issues with rodents. We will also install security cameras to ensure that there's no waste on the ground. And the compost bins will be cleared weekly by the staff, the compost crew. So we will be ensuring that everyone follows the procedures necessary to decrease that risk.
I would say that in a comment that I'm not against composting. I've done it for years. But I do have some question about the location there. It seems to me it would be more appropriate perhaps in a utility quarter somewhere else. I do have a question about the rodents and certainly a question about the aesthetic appearance of such a structure. And in that neighborhood, some of the residents may find it objectionable.
So we selected the location where it will actually sit because if you can see in the picture on the right, you can see there's an adjacent facility already that's a similar fence line. So it's kind of hidden behind these shrubs and it's a natural fence line. It's completely enclosed. The bins are completely enclosed. So it's not an open facility. The gates have doors. We're actually located right across the street on Folks Corner ourselves. So we have a vested interest in seeing that this is maintained, and we're going to put signs on the outside. We're producing some advertising and promotion that will explain what is best to be composted versus what not to compost. We don't, if we find that it's really being overused and we need to have 2 pickups, we're prepared to make those arrangements. I know the Kentlands also has a composting area within the Kentlands serviced by the same company. And they're very happy with it. Nobody has complaints about aesthetics or rodents. It's so, we feel confident that we can address problems if they arise.
Thank you.
Anything further?
No.
Okay, Commissioner LaFrance?
John Roddy asked all my questions, except for I guess I can come up with a new one. What about odors? Do we have to be concerned about odors?
So based on the current existing compost sites at Public Works and the Casey Center, we do not sense any odors nearby, and therefore we are not worried that this site would have a problem.
Thank you.
Again, it'll be picked up weekly, so it's not open containers where.
I'm excited
Yeah.
about it. I think it's a great program, but I was
Yeah,
curious.
if it was open bins, then there's a much greater risk of that, obviously.
Thank you.
Okay, up next and last, do you have an image of the bins? I didn't see any in the,
They're hidden behind the fences,
okay, very good.
but they
All right.
basically look like exactly the same as recycle bins.
Exactly right.
They're generally green instead of blue.
Are they about the same size also?
It would be a 65-gallon bin.
Okay. Can you put up the graphic that showed, it looked like a green fence? And that right there, that, I think this is supposed to be a 10 by 20 enclosure, is that correct?
Yes.
This looks like it's a side, because I think I see something that looks like it's almost 10 feet. Where, do you have any other images of the front, let's say, where the gates are? Because this is the only one that
Yeah, I
this is the
thought
only
there
image
was.
that I saw, and I'm just curious what the front looks like.
The gate reference, it's gonna match the Casey.
So
gate,
there
right?
is a smaller gate on the far end, and then where humans will walk in, and donors, what do you call them? Depositors. And then a larger gate on the front that is closed all the time, where the compost crew will pull up and swap
Roughly, what
out.
are the size of the two gates? The pedestrian gate is how wide?
The pedestrian gate will be 4 feet wide.
Okay, and then the, I guess the removal gates, the front gate, what would they be? Is it a double gate?
It will be a double gate, yeah.
And what are roughly the
6 feet,
6 feet total, 3 and 3, or 6 and 6?
3 and 3.
Okay, and then how tall is the enclosure? Roughly in feet?
Around 6 feet.
6 feet, I think, 72
feet.
inches.
72
Okay,
inches.
very good, all right. That was the only questions I have. All
And
right.
it will have a concrete pad.
Okay, okay.
I did have
And-
one other question, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
The Casey House photo had bollards around it. Will this also have bollards?
The bollards.
Yes, it will.
Okay. Are there any, I don't recall if there's any guidelines on bollards in the HGC? I know we have fence guidelines, but
Yeah, there wouldn't be anything specific in there, but I think since it's a parking lot and just a fence, I don't see any reason it would be against the guidelines.
You talking about bollards?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should put, because I think the owner, the Kissy House has, yeah. And you intend to put bollards on this one?
Yes.
Okay.
For me, my last question is, you showed an image of a green gate, but then I think you said it was going to be natural color.
Yeah.
So is it going to be stained, or is it going to just be gray wood eventually?
At this point, we're going with the natural wood.
Which would wind up to be gray, do you believe?
Yes, it will darken to gray.
Okay, I was just curious. All right, Commissioners up in forum, jump in on any questions you have. No further? Okay, open to a motion to either approve or deny the HOP with or without conditions.
I move that the Historic District Commission, based on the exhibits submitted, the applicant's testimony, the staff report findings and recommendation, the fences and accessory structures section of the Historic District Design Guidelines for the Brookes, Russell, and Walker Historic District and individually designated sites approve HIST 10107-225, finding it in compliance with section 24-9.4 of the city code.
Does anybody want to entertain any conditions? No? Okay.
Nope.
Nope. All right, so I'm looking for a second.
Second.
All right, so then going for a vote, nay, excuse me, aye, nay, or abstain. Commissioner Feinstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Morgan,
Aye.
Commissioner Roddy,
Nay.
Commissioner Alphonse,
Aye.
and Commissioner Ventola says aye, so that passes 4-1. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next and last for the hops is HIST 10124-2024. Porch alterations at 21 Brookes Avenue in the R90 medium density residential zone. May we have an introduction from staff, please?
HISD 10124-2025 at 21 Brookes Avenue. This application is for retroactive porch alterations. It is contributing to the Brookes, Russell, and Walker Historic District. For some background, this is coming to the HDC after discrepancies were noted in the historic tax credit application last month, and is coming for retroactive approval. The issued building permit BRI 31400-2023 was approved with the condition that all porch reconstruction was to be done in kind. Elements that were done correctly were the brick piers, the porch ceiling as wood with the boards running parallel to the house, and the tin roof was replaced with standing seam metal. For the porch deck boards, the framing plan that was approved contradicted the condition in the building permit for the deck boards to be installed perpendicular to the house. The approved framing generally required deck boards to be installed parallel to the house, as they have been. This is a selection from the approved plans showing this method of porch construction. Staff believes that this contradictory approval was done in error, and a retroactive hop should be issued for this portion of the work. For the porch columns, the review criteria, in a general sense from the guidelines and our zoning ordinance, elements should be replaced in kind. In the materials section of the design guidelines, it says new materials can be considered if they provide an appearance which is historic. Paint might mitigate the shininess of fiberglass. In the porches section, the guidelines only say porches should have appropriate columns, which could be interpreted as they only need to be Tuscan columns. If the HDC determines that the installed columns must be replaced, I would prioritize first the new ones are Tuscan, their dimensions match, and then I believe that fiberglass should at least be considered as a replacement for wood if painting is tested. And additional consideration should be noted, since the old columns are gone, we don't have their measurements. Staff recommends that the Historic District Commission, based on the exhibits submitted, the applicant's testimony, the staff report findings and recommendation, and section 24-9.4 G8 of the city code, partially approve HIST 10124-2025 to allow the porch floor, finding it in compliance with section 24-9.4 of the city code, and partially deny the application for the new columns, but require their replacement with columns matching the material, size, and appearance of the columns they replaced, based on the porches section of the Brookes, Russell, and Walker Historic District Design Guidelines, with one condition, that the applicant coordinate with staff to ensure installation of replacement columns that match the original columns as closely as feasible regarding material, size, and appearance.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. Are you the applicant?
Thank you. Yes, I am. My name's Catherine Rimmer. I go by Kate, and I am one of the owners at 21 Brookes.
Okay.
So,
Welcome, and relay anything you would like to let us know.
Okay. So this work was done in the fall of 23, or begun in the fall of 23. And the final inspection was done in the spring of 24. We were trying to get it completed in the fall because we were afraid that the porch was not going to be able to sustain a winter snowfall. So we wanted to be sure that we got the work and the supports done. I now unfortunately realize and apologize for, it took us a lot to find a contractor to do the work. It took about a year for us to actually find someone who would touch a historic district porch for us. And in that, we also turned over to them getting the, not certificates, the what?
Permit.
Permit, yes, to do so. So to be honest, my fault. I did not read the permit or see the permit in this process. So to me, what I saw was them building a porch and doing a nice job, especially the woodwork and the roof that they did, and putting up the roof. I've been calling to try to find similar columns after the comments that we've had. The construction people said they couldn't find them. I have been calling to people for estimates for custom columns, and they're in the range of 5 to 10 times the price, and then shipping because some of them have been pretty far away. And then there would be the inclusion of putting them back in. They're structural, so it wouldn't be an easy proposition.
Okay, anything further?
No,
Okay,
that's
well,
it.
thank you so much. All right. Next then is the public is invited to speak. And I see really no one interested in speaking. Okay, shaking head no. Do we have anyone waiting online to
So we
speak?
do have one person online.
All
But,
right,
I
then I'll then read the simple directions. For anyone at home who wishes to speak, to indicate you want to make a comment, if you're on a computer or a laptop, move your mouse to the button, to the bottom center of the Zoom window, and you should see a raise hand button pop up. Click on the button and we can call on you. If you're dialing in on a telephone, please press *9 to raise your hand.
I don't see them raising their hand.
No? Okay, very good. All right. Okay, so next thing is let's hear from the commissioners. Commissioner Feinstein?
I'm very sympathetic to what happened, and I feel bad that, obviously the columns are fairly distinctly different from what was originally in place. I guess my question to you is, do you have the dimensions of the original columns?
I don't have the dimensions.
Okay. Can you go back to the elevation, the drawn elevation? Because those are, so those are more the new ones there. Because I thought there was a drawing on the previous month where it talked about reusing.
The plan was to reuse
Yeah.
the original columns, but they were too far gone to
No, I understand.
salvage and rebuild.
But it looked like on my memory from the previous month had a drawing that matched the previous column more, where this drawing is of the new column.
I believe that's the old
Is
column.
it the old column there?
Yeah,
Okay.
replace existing support columns with,
Okay. So this proportionally could be at least a guide.
Well, yeah, the existing, I think, could be a guide in that we want it to be thicker.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm saying the drawing itself. If that's
Well, yeah, I don't know about the drawing.
Yeah.
I think the drawing does look more like the proposed.
It's kind of in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's my main question was whether you had dimensions. Otherwise it's going to have to be just visually based on photographs, which is a little more challenging.
True.
I don't have a problem with the deck changing in direction. I think that's more minor.
Okay. Anything further?
No.
Okay, Commissioner Morgan?
Yeah, I have a question. Was it your intent to make or customize the column to replicate what was there before? Because the question was, you don't know the size of it.
Right, right.
The
So
profile,
we were
yeah.
guessing
So you kind of
at the
guessing.
size.
Okay, I commend your effort to do that because it's significant that you, based on the description that you replace in con. I'm just looking at your application, and it's like a deviation from the application to what was built, and you didn't pay attention to permit, and you trusted the contractor to do the right thing. And we're sitting here now, apparently the contractor did not do the right thing. This one is difficult. Because the fiberglass, the profile looked smaller than the original column. I mean, you can, it's clearly seen from the drawing and from what was built. I don't have any more further comment on this. It just,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Commissioner LaFrance?
I have more of a statement than cautionary tale here, I would say, than questions. As far as advice goes, I would look at some of the other homes in your neighborhood. Pretty sure you could find one in the style of your home and get some measurements of what it was supposed to be. And I also wanted to state, just for the community, wood versus vinyl. So the biggest difference between wood and vinyl, whether it's windows, columns, or the like, wood can always be repaired. Always. Whereas vinyl cannot. God forbid a tree fall on your porch tomorrow. That's vinyl split and it's trash. So when you think about an investment in wood columns, it's worth it for the life of the house to invest in something that can be repaired and is quality and is the right size and shape for your porch architecturally. And it's, like I said, buyer beware. We now know you needed to be closely involved with your contractor, who unfortunately did not do his due diligence. Columns are available. There are multiple places online that make them, sell them. You might even be able to find someone locally in Gaithersburg or Rockville or Germantown, maybe even historic Frederick, that will make them for you. So there's a lot of options out there. And unfortunately, it didn't happen in this case. But an historic homeowner is a guardian and of their historic property and has a responsibility to protect and preserve the original architecture of their historic home for future generations. It's different than just having an old home. You have a historically designated home, which gives it an importance in the city's inventory of historic places. And also, if you replace in kind, you qualify for tax credits, which clearly, in this case, unless you go back and you look at your options for wood, then maybe you can come back to us at a later time and apply for historic tax credits if you go with wood and if you go with something the right size and shape. And then that's all I have to say about that. Now, for city staff, I'd have to ask you to mention to the staff that handle permits, when considering an application on a historic property, that the city enforce and make the applicant aware of the Secretary of Interior standards. Otherwise, we as the HDC need to reconsider what staff is allowed to approve. That's very important, because right now we have an agreement. You guys can approve fences and take some things off our plate. That's great. But when something accidentally slips through the cracks like this, it destroys the architectural integrity of our designated historic resources. And it's important to remember that. And that's all I have to say. I'm off my soapbox now.
Okay, I'm next and last.
Can I precede you?
Oh, by all means, please, sure.
I would agree with my colleagues so far. In virtually each and every way. I would go further to comment that I would like to thank the chairman for his attention last month from saving us from making the situation even more awkward than it really was.
Yes.
And thank you, sir.
Well, you're certainly welcome. Appreciate that.
Your turn.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I really don't think that it's not a big issue, but I don't think it's you as the homeowner's responsibility to to confirm or to oversee your contractor. He's required to build to the permit, and the permit drawings say in-kind replacement. And I will say this, I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm suggesting anything, but I can say that there was at least 5 things not built that was original. They changed. And that to me is not just an oversight. It to me seems to be something that was more of something that wasn't a big concern. How could you miss 5 out of 5? The columns being wood, being putting in fiberglass is nobody can ever believe that it's in kind. The ceiling, which I want to ask you about, the original ceiling in the photo showed that it was just plank board, I think going parallel to the house. But now it's been changed to beaded panel. Do you know if the beaded panel is wood or was it like a fiberglass?
It's wood, and I
Okay.
believe it was a bead panel
Originally?
before
Okay.
because we had a porch swing hanging from it, so I looked at it a fair amount.
So you know what beaded panel is then? You're
Yeah.
like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Because from the photos, it just looked like it was simple plank. So that's wonderful. Okay. The direction of the floor planks is obviously not the way it was. And I'm not even suggesting that you would make that change. And I think so far I'm hearing no one is even caring about that. But it could have been done differently. Even in a retrofit now, even though the joists are going in the opposite direction, you can have an infill of joists spliced in, going in the proper direction that will allow you to make the change. But I don't think you need to worry about that. At least so far, I'm thinking nobody really cares about that. In last month's meeting, kind of said it 3 or 4 times. It's not an issue for me, but I just wanted to say for those that are listening at home that you can change the pattern even if the joists are not done properly without taking the joists down. They can just be added to, like they're calling them perpendicular joists, put in small increments will allow you then to change the plank's direction. Then also, I think there was a change on the steps, again, not being what reminiscent or reflective of what was there. And I think that there appears to be even the brickwork did not necessarily meet the size that was originally there. But again, I don't think I have any real big concerns on that myself, and no one was talking about it, so that's not something of a concern. And then lastly, I think the new deck floorboards are just planks, and whereas I understand the original was T and G. Do you have any recall on what was there and what is there now?
I don't think they were tongue and groove before because you could see light between the
Okay.
boards.
I thought it was mentioned that it was
But-
tongue and groove. Okay.
But I can't swear by it either.
Okay. All right. That's, again, it's not something I have a big concern about. All right. So I guess the only thing next is for us to, I guess, go to Commissioners' Open Forum, talk about the couple of different things that we're going to be voting on. And actually, let's make a list of the things that we're going to vote on. I would say the porch columns would be being replaced in kind is one. The next thing is, would we separately, that is, the porch columns be replaced to match the original size and design. And then the second, I think, would be to have the porch columns be replaced with wood like they were, like the original, or fiberglass. I think then the direction of the porch floorboards can stay as is maybe another question that we should consider. Then the porch floorboards stay as plank instead of the original T&G. I would say based on the applicant's testimony, I'm going to cross that out because she's saying that it was probably originally plank. So I'm going to take your word for it from your memory and just take that off the list. And then the porch ceiling to stay as beaded panel, based on your testimony that it was beaded panel. I'm taking that off the list as well. So there's just these three issues. And so let's go through. Does it sound okay to everybody to go through a vote on these?
Yes.
Is there any other item that somebody wants to add to this list to vote on individually? No? Okay. So then the first of the three, and let's go down each individual person. For the porch columns to be replaced to match the original, the size and design. Mark, you agree or nay or abstain?
I agree.
All right. Rudy?
Agree.
John?
Agree.
Mary Jo?
I agree.
And Dean Ventola agrees as well. Then next one is the porch columns to be replaced with wood and not fiberglass. Mark?
I'd have to see a sample of the fiberglass,
So
finished fiberglass prior to.
Okay, so then, I didn't mean to interrupt, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm unsure.
Do we then need to table this vote?
Well, I don't know. I'd like to hear what everybody else has to say because I could be convinced if, I mean, the fiberglass columns I've seen installed look like fiberglass. They don't look like wood.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah. So, but if they can be treated in such a way with like a paint or something like that, that was, I think what Kate, you had indicated. I've never seen that treatment before, so I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen it either, but I thought it might be a attempt there to.
I've never seen a fiberglass that actually looks like a Tuscan column.
But then how would you strip it once it starts to peel?
That's
I'm
true.
talking about the
Doesn't
design.
make sense.
Talking about the design. Have you seen them that look authentic?
I've seen them replicate the size,
I'm saying
Profile, but not.
the ornament.
yeah, I've always seen them. They always are you can always tell by the finish that they're fiberglass.
Well, I'm so sorry. What, other than the material, do they look like they are designed properly? Do they have the bands? Do they have the
I've seen some.
antithesis?
I've seen some that
Yeah.
look pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we're going to table that. So next, same question though for Rudy. Porch columns to be wood, not fiberglass.
Based on the appearance, I would say wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would
Because you see it, you know it's fiberglass.
All right. Would you
Yeah.
prefer to table it till we see the fiberglass, or do you feel strong about the wood?
I think I feel strong with it.
Okay.
The more I think about it, I think I feel strong with the wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. John.
I'm with Rudy. Wood.
All right. Mary Jo.
Wood.
And I as well with wood. So based on that, it's 4-1. Do you want to pursue tabling this?
No.
Okay. All right. Next and last of the three is the direction of the porch floorboards to stay as currently built, not as was originally designed. Mark, do you think that that's acceptable?
Yes, stay as
All right.
current.
All right. Rudy?
Still, that's correct.
All right. John?
Leave it alone.
Okay. Mary Jo?
I will agree with leaving it alone, although I'm disappointed.
Okay. So noted.
Thank you.
And I as well say it could stay as is. So based on that, we believe that we have to replace it with wood columns that match the original design as close as possible. Now, before we close this out.
Excuse me. Can
Yes.
we also say size and scale?
Yeah,
Wanna
well, that's
make
the
sure
first
it's
one.
Absolutely.
That's the first
Yeah,
one.
just
No,
making
item
sure.
number 1 is porch columns to be replaced to match original size and design.
Good. Perfect.
Okay.
Just checking.
Size is diameter emphasis or diameter and height, and design is emphasis, detailing, patterns and the like. So essentially, we're essentially going to vote these in. But I'll just say, can I ask you another question? We're not looking for custom. I don't think anyone up here is looking for custom. I believe that there are a lot of companies out there that make authentic looking wood columns. And it doesn't have to be exact, but as close as possible is what we're looking for, of course. What number, what amount, what was the price that you received on custom, just so I have an idea?
The price was 5,000 to 10,000 for the custom.
Did they, well, 5 to 10,000 is a big range for, is it, how many columns? You got
Four columns.
For 4 columns. So how did you get such a range? Did you go from different people? And
I went
one
to
was at
2 different
5?
companies.
One was at 5,000, one was
Yep.
at 10,000? Well, let's get rid of the $10,000 one. Go with the 5,000. But anyway, my point is that they're saying that it's, and this is an installed price or not?
I'm sorry, this
Is it just the column price or
It's
is it
just the
installed?
column.
Column price, all right. All right.
I think we're dealing with 5 columns, not 4.
Really?
I think they're 4.
It's full.
It's just 4.
Is it 4? Oh,
Because there isn't any up against the house that I
No.
know of.
Okay. But that puts them like at, was it 1,250 a column? That's kind of
That's a
pricey.
lot, yeah.
I believe that there are less costly, authentic wood ones out there. But I
And
guess
there's also possibly salvage.
that's the other
Yeah,
thing too.
yeah.
Do you know if your builder sold them as salvage? Because if he's a builder, I've been dealing with builders for years and years and
Yeah.
years. They find value in things that are removed and do sell them to
Always.
help offset their costs. I know builders always do that. Not every builder does it, but do you know if
I
they?
have no idea.
Well, you may want to ask to see because maybe you can buy them back. Now, I know the column on the far left to me looked like it was in the worst condition. From the photos, though, my personal opinion, only from photos, the other 3 looked like they were fine, just
yeah.
needed some work on it.
Yeah,
But I
I
also
agree.
believe that column on the end
Yeah.
can be retrofitted. It can be repaired. I'm just so saddened that they were just taken out and thrown away. But there's a good chance, I'll just say there's a chance that maybe he sold them as salvage. Because if new ones cost $1,200, he can certainly get a couple $100 for each one rather than throw it in the trash. There's a possibility that maybe he did sell them as salvage, or is waiting to. Maybe they're in his
warehouse.
Yeah, we can only hope. But just ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. And if he has them,
Yeah.
say, "Can I have them back?" And they'll save you a whole bunch of money because they'll be the most authentic ones you can get.
That's right.
And so I guess too, the other thought too is Kate last month suggested that either came with her idea or maybe from yourself to have an extended time to get this done, 90 days. I'm all for giving 90 days, and if you need more, maybe
Yeah.
come back at that
I
time.
would say that's more
Absolutely.
because we're getting this poor lady.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm fine
Chasing
with
those
more.
things down is going to take time.
I'm in agreement. So that's the other thing. Let's put it on item number 4. How many,
My understanding
Yeah.
is the city standard is as long as you show progress.
okay,
So if she's showing that she's working on it, that's progress.
Okay.
And there
Okay.
shouldn't be any fines attached.
great. So, okay,
That's fine.
progress. All right, okay. Very good. So that sounds fine. All right, so now, based on that, anybody else have anything further they want to add, including yourself, ma'am? Anything further? No? Okay. All right, so then, I'm looking for a motion to accept, or excuse me, to approve or deny this HOP with or without conditions. And I can recite the 3 conditions when it's time to add the conditions. So does somebody want to put a motion forward?
Anybody, somebody, guys.
Come on,
Okay.
gentlemen.
All right. Let me attempt to do that. Okay, I move that the Historic District Commission, based on the exhibit submitted, the applicant's testimony, the staff report, findings, and recommendation in section 24-9.4, parentheses G-8 of the City Code. Partially approve HIST-10124-2025 to allow the porch floor, finding it in compliance with section 24-9.4 of the City Code, and partially deny the application for the new columns, but requiring the replacement with columns matching the material size and appearance of the column they replaced, based on the porches section of the Brookes, Russell, and Walker Historic District Design Guidelines, with 3 conditions.
Okay.
Okay.
And they are as follows, and it might be a duplicate of what one of them that you already said, but it doesn't matter. Condition number 1 is the porch columns, the currently installed, must be replaced to match the original columns' size and design.
And material.
Yeah, material.
And material.
That's number 2.
Okay.
All right, number 2 is
So I'm sorry, can I project? So Kate currently has a condition which I think might
what I
cover.
Yeah,
That's what
So
I
just
said.
one
It
condition.
may duplicate it, but I want
Yeah.
to just
That's
clarify.
what he
Just,
said.
okay, just
Yeah.
determine just
Yeah,
one
no,
condition.
yeah, I knew when Rudy read it that it was kind of like a duplicate, but I want to clarify, and I think these 3 are the most important, so I do want to keep them as line items. Line item 2, okay, so did you want me to repeat that for you? Remember last month you asked me to be clear with it for your writing, so
Yeah.
do you
think
need to
just the-
repeat it, or did you get it all?
Yeah, could you repeat the first one?
Okay,
And if I can interject real quick, you don't need 3 conditions here. One condition covers it that's already in the staff report.
Yeah, so this condition covers, so
The
we can just
condition of the
read
staff
that.
analysis does require the applicant to replace the columns as closely as feasibly with material size and appearance.
Yep, that's what I was
So
saying, is
adding
that
them
one
as 3
condition
separate
covers all the 3 items that you were looking for them to replace. It's already kind of.
okay,
baked
so
in.
you guys don't want to have it spelled out separately?
If you're
I
looking to
mean,
make
the record is clear that that's your intent.
Okay.
So that's certainly there.
Okay.
But in terms of interpreting
Okay.
or
All right.
enforcing the condition, it is
Okay.
already present.
All right, and the item of the floorboards staying as is already written in there?
That's in there too, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so then we don't have to have any conditions for what's
Excuse
been
me.
read.
Could we add regarding material, wood, the word wood, so it's clarified?
Okay, that's
Because I
fine by me.
think that should be added specifically since we've all voted
Okay.
Yeah.
no for
Yeah, I agree,
vinyl.
wood, because
So wood
fiberglass is,
specifically
yeah.
So matching the wood
added
material, size,
Yeah.
and appearance.
yeah,
to the condition. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, we can add that
yeah.
to clarify
Thank
to
you.
the condition. Again,
Yeah.
I will note that the record is pretty clear, I think,
Yeah.
on what the commission's voting on tonight. So I think we can add it, it's fine.
All right,
Yeah.
well, that was the item number 2. The porch columns to be replaced, the existing porch columns to be replaced with wood columns, not fiberglass.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so that's the only clarification on there. So, Kate, did you get that?
Did we want to put a condition on timing?
I'm sorry?
Did we want to put a condition on the time?
I thought the city doesn't have a time constraint, provided that there is, did you say?
Progress.
Progress.
So.
They can demonstrate that they're progressively doing something, whether it's, I believe.
Is that
looking
the city
for-
code? Do you guys know?
She,
Yes, ma'am.
Does that require formal updates of some kind on progress?
That's a
Or
great
They'll
question.
how
call
do we
you.
document
so.
that? Okay.
They'll call you.
Can I send you emails and
Yeah,
to,
I mean,
okay.
That's really the requirement of coordination with city staff. That,
Okay.
that it won't lie dormant for very long because they'll be checking in.
So if I'm hearing the commission correctly tonight, you're looking to strike the 90 days from the staff condition?
Oh, is that in there?
Yeah, it's in
Yes,
there.
90
Yeah.
days is in
It's
here.
within
Yes,
90 days.
I think we all agree to strike the 90 days. But do we want to put, but no more than? Because if this thing goes on a year or two, that might not be considered desirable.
What's reasonable? That's the question.
Yes.
Again,
Do
I
you
think
have a
working,
suggestion?
I think just working the staff should be sufficient.
Yeah,
Again, we'll
working
make sure to
staff.
stay on top with the applicant to continue to
So
get
don't
this
put
resolved.
in, but no more than 1 year.
If the commission's good with not doing a 90-day clock, I think we're okay.
Okay.
Great.
All right.
Thank you.
And again, just to clarify the condition, I think it should read, the applicant will coordinate with staff to ensure the installation of the wood columns to match regarding the size and appearance.
Correct.
Yeah.
That will clarify that wood was the desirable choice of material.
Okay. All right. So is anything further before
Well,
we vote?
Rudy finished
So we're-
saying it. We've got to second it, right?
I'll
You
second.
need a second.
Yeah.
You got
But
it.
he just said it, so.
What's that?
I seconded.
That's
Okay,
the
good.
second, yeah.
Good.
Got it. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. So then for a vote, aye if you support the motion, nay if you don't, abstain if you wish. Commissioner Feinstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Morgan,
Aye.
Commissioner Roddy,
Aye.
Commissioner LaFrance,
Aye.
Commissioner Ventola says aye, so it passes 5-0. Congratulations, I guess, right? By the way, you have a beautiful home.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what they did, if they followed the original design, if they did it in kind, that would be stunning. But right now, it just looks like it was not adhered to. So in the end, I'm hoping that everybody's going to be satisfied with the final outcome. But in the end, also, you have a very beautiful home. And I think it's going to just be magnificent when it's all done.
Well, thank you for working with us.
Thank you for working
Thank you.
with us. Thank you. All right, then, next is anything from the commissioners. Mark?
No.
Rudy?
Nothing.
John?
Nope.
Mary Jo?
Oh, I've said plenty.
And I have nothing to say. Anything from staff? Kate?
Nothing.
Frank?
I would just say it was really interesting to watch tonight. You all had some 3 discussions. And hats off to you for your work. And thanks for your service. I would also have to say, now that public comment is closed and you made the decision, I was actually sitting here a bit struck by the color pictures of the playground that's there now. Having this, I think this is the 4th round that you've looked at it, and the direction and the changes that happened, and not only working for the city but also being a resident, you take a little bit of pride in that sometimes. So it's a nice night to be a little proud. Thank
I
you.
like how it's still maintaining the look of a park.
Yeah.
And the stuff in the center, I wish I was many decades earlier, younger.
To play.
That looks like a great place to play, I think.
Yeah.
All right,
Not too late.
Yeah.
Greg?
Nothing for me tonight, thanks.
Okay, anything from anybody else before we adjourn? We are hereby adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.